Alright, the tools you're going to need for this build is a 1/2 inch drill bit with a drill, and that drill bit needs to be able to go through metal. Any kind of pliers or a wrench that'll just be to tighten, and then a tape measure to measure the length if you're going to convert this into a weight for distance implement. Alright, materials: 3/8 inch thick shackle. Don't get one of those quick release chain things. Those just bend and break. Make sure it's a shackle. And this one that you'll need for this project needs to have a 1-inch gap. So from here to here. This is a 6.5 inch diameter by 5/8 inch thick ring. If you can find something online that's about that diameter, then go ahead. Otherwise, you can look, for Highland Games implement makers to find something like this. The next thing you're going to need is a 1-inch thick black gas pipe, threaded at least on one side. Usually it'll come threaded on two sides, and it'll need to be 6 inches long. And then you'll need a threaded cap for that to fit on one of the ends. And the last thing you'll want are some weight plates to stack on it, and you want to make sure that they're 1 inch, that they'll fit on a 1-inch bar. So kind of some of the older dumbbell weight plates, and you can find those at thrift stores or surplus stores that have that kind of stuff. Sometimes a secondhand sports store, or just online, people selling them. And for this project, I'm going to make this about 56 pounds because that's the weight for the weight over bar event and the weight for distance. But you can make it a 42, like if you're a master's thrower or lightweight thrower. You can make it a 28, whatever combination you want on these plates. The other thing that I've purchased is a D-ring handle. This is the preferred handle for weight for distance events, and I don't have any welding gear, so I just bought one from Michael Black Sheaf. You can find them online. There was an arrow from my son. And then you also want a couple links of chain. So a 1/4 inch chain is usually good enough, 2 to 3 links, and then a 1/4 inch shackle, like that. And again, don't use these quick release ones. These, they get all bent, and then they can't open or close, and you can't get them undone. Another thing that helps with the drilling process, now you don't necessarily need it because you're not drilling through a really, really thick piece of metal. You're just drilling through that pipe. But cutting oil helps. Yeah, it'll save your drill bit. Okay, so first thing I did with this is I drilled through it, and it's not an exact measurement, but maybe about a 1/2 inch from the top, just enough so it doesn't break through. It doesn't ever break through the top here. Drill through that, and then that's pretty much everything you need, and then you can assemble. Okay, for assembly, you can stack these however you want to stack the weights, but what I typically will do is, the smaller weights, just to kind of make it more like a rounded weight. I'll put a couple of these smaller ones on, then the 2 big ones, and then the 2 small ones again. I've thrown this a time or two, so it doesn't slide on very easily. I'm going to put the shackle on. You want to do that with the weight, with the handle, I mean. Now, one thing I did have to do when I did this is I had to take a hammer and kind of hit it to narrow it just a little bit, because the black pipe is just a little bit over 1 inch, and this is it needs to fit around it. So put the handle and the shackle on together. A little dirt in there too. And this is where you can use the wrench to tighten it if you need to, but not really necessary right now.
Made it over.
Okay, now to convert this, I've taken off the shackle, and I'm going to put on the D-ring handle now. So string that through. Like I said, two or three. I think two rings actually, because of you want it to be at exactly 18 inches long. The longer, better, but 18 inches is the max you can go. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, 17 and a half or so. So it's perfect. One thing I'd recommend is maybe doing one link and then doing a shackle here. Then you don't have to undo this one ever. You can just do, so another one of these shackles, put it onto here. I needed to use my other shackle for something else. But once you start throwing it in the mud, it gets to about 56, maybe 60 pounds after that.